Welcome back to Plague Scythe Studios, everyone. Ryan here. It is a lovely rainy Saturday mid-morning. My upstairs neighbors are playing their favorite game of let's move every piece of furniture in the apartment and drop dead weights on the floor. So this audio is going to be completely fucked, but not a huge deal because this is the start of, I'm guessing, a 2 to 4 part vlog, build log thing series of PC stuff. One of the words in the title or subtitle of this channel, Gear Tech Metal, is tech, and of course most of the time we are focusing on music related tech, but the centerpiece of this channel, really the reason that I am able to do half the stuff I am, or most of it, is this PC down here. And it's kind of due for an upgrade. It's not like super critical, but the timing is pretty good right now for both used components and some halfway newer stuff. And I'm selling off some other things, and the AC just kicked on, and I'm not gonna tolerate that. Praise all the gods, they left too. So nice. As I was saying, there's a handful of reasons I've been wanting to upgrade for the past year or so, and several of them are just personal gaming reasons. You know, I'd like higher resolutions and frame rates on newer titles. There's a lot of series that I've been going back or plan to go back and play the entire way through, and the first game or two, say like Dark Souls for instance, run Dark Souls 1 remastered 4K 60 without a hitch. It was beautiful. I'm going to start Scholar of the First Sin, Dark Souls 2, and 4K 60 almost at all times. A small dip here, you know, here and there. Dark Souls 3 4K 60 isn't going to happen, so I'm kind of in that limbo of now's the time to upgrade if I want to experience some of those series in that way. And of course there's upcoming games that I just will have to turn down too much eye candy for my preferences, so there's that. But there's also a lot of production reasons that, you know, going through making these videos when I'm either exporting something from Cubase or rendering a video, you know, time saved and performance, quality of life of actually editing is certainly important, and we will have benchmarks and metrics for all of that good stuff. So I think now is a good time to introduce the system I'm currently working with to give you some context. This is the Merovingian. How edgy is that, naming a computer after a program in Matrix Reloaded? So this is an Ivy Bridge system. Yeah, that's ancient in PC years. So this CPU came out 7 years ago, I think, mid 2011. i7-2600K, we've got a mild overclock to 4.4 gigahertz, which makes it stand, you know, pretty tall amongst even modern CPUs. It's not bad. It doesn't have quite the IPC of something like a 66 or 7700K, or 6700K rather. And as such, on CPU intensive tasks, or especially CPU intensive games like open world games like The Witcher, you can get a little bit of bottlenecking going on to where even my current graphics card can't reach its full potential, but that's only in, you know, 1%, sometimes 0.1% scenarios. The graphics card I'm using is GTX 980 Ti, and for the most part it does have all the legroom it needs to output at the highest frame rate and most GPU usage, which is good. But like I said, there are scenarios in gaming where it would help to have a little bit higher IPC. And it was one of those upgrades coming from a GTX 970 when it released. I think I got the 80 Ti about 6 months after it launched. It was one of those things that I couldn't have spent the same amount of money and gotten any more performance in any other way. I couldn't have got, you know, another GPU and upgraded CPU and all that and got the same performance increase. So it was the best move I could have done, and it's a great freaking card even to this day. 16 gigabytes DDR3 RAM, but priority number one, which I hope to address by the end of the day, is we are running off of hard drives only. I don't know why it took me this long. It was one of those things where when I first put the system together, I was just like, yeah, I'll throw a terabyte Western Digital in there. I'll get 3 terabytes for backups and, you know, kind of larger file stuff for like videos that I do now. And we'll get an SSD later down the road when it's convenient, maybe when Windows 10 dropped or whatever. I didn't do it when 10 dropped, and I just kept throwing so many more programs and mods and all the things that aren't super easy to copy over. And now it's like past the point of no return. However, I'm going to attempt to clone the hard drive and then format it after I'm sure it took, which is why, as you can see in the background, I am copying all the important stuff. So all the channels, video archives, the footage I'm working with right now, all the projects, Got all my Cubase projects, all that good stuff, a lot of game save files. So this is going to take most of the afternoon, I have a feeling, but it will all be in safe hands after that. Also running off of an EVGA 750 watt power supply. That will not have to be replaced. It's modular, a lot of overhead for pretty much anything I want to do if it's just one graphics card. And we're also going to keep this beautiful Fantex Enthoo Pro full tower. I think it was classified as a mid tower when it first came out, because I was super surprised how big it was when I got it. But I love this case. I've had it for 3 years and I hope to keep it for another 30. There's a lot of things it did that were kind of top of the line back when it came out, and are still, you know, very prevalent higher end cases. They've got a few more quality of life features as far as cable routing, but you can make this thing look beautiful. It's easy to work in. It's got a 200 millimeter intake fan, plenty of airflow, and got the top radiator support. Got a 140 in the back, I believe. So if you want to do like an AIO cooler there, you can do that. Great case. Hope to never get rid of it. So we'll be keeping that, the power supply, the drives, kind of switching around the boot order and all that. Also the Corsair H100i V2 or V, whatever this one is. I bought it in like 2015. Regardless, we will be keeping that CPU cooler because it is compatible with modern Intel sockets, and I've been impressed with the performance, the noise level, all that good stuff. And maybe I'll replace it once we hit the 5 to 7 year mark, but 3 years in, I see no signs of degradation or anything of that sort. Performance has stayed flat, so I'm good with that. So I didn't really mind putting up with the performance of this aging hardware, but the reason I'm upgrading now, and I would recommend a lot of people to do that now if you're looking into it and don't mind being a generation or two behind, is really twofold. One, Intel and AMD are releasing new chips. So you've got like the 9900K 8-core 16-thread tier for consumers coming from Intel here soon. You've got the 2600, the 2000 series Ryzen for AMD. I think they've got some new Threadripper and EPYC stuff in the works as well. And because of that, a lot of the older chips, last generation, are heavily discounted and being bundled with motherboards and RAM. And of course, a lot of the stuff is being used on you know, eBay and that kind of stuff. If you don't mind to take that risk, which for that new hardware, most of the time you're probably okay. So that definitely helps. The second thing, more importantly for me, is that NVIDIA just recently announced, as of making this video, the RTX series of graphics cards, which is their ray traced capable Turing chips. And they've already got a 2070, 2080, 2080 Ti. I have zero interest in ray tracing right now. It is, in my opinion, the gimmickest of gimmicks. It looks great, it does, but I'm not, you know, sacrificing half my performance for something that I have to stop and like zoom in and look at to really appreciate. I will take greater performance and just a little less eye candy in that instance, so I don't really care. And there's basically no details about it right now about how it performs versus just the regular GPUs and normal applications. It's also the pricing doesn't really look all that good, so yeah, not really on board on that one. But because of that, a lot of the 10 series GPUs are heavily discounted and the used market is flooded. And I think the miner wars might be in a lull right now because you can actually find a lot. So I've got my eyeballs on some of the higher end 10 series cards that will, you know, kind of get me over that edge of 4K performance I'm looking for. It certainly won't be quite as cutting edge, and I could certainly see NVIDIA coming out with a second series, the GTX series again, but 2080, 2080 Ti, 2070, and it just not have the ray tracing capability, and it would basically be the same chips with that parts disabled. And that would probably be what the higher performance is. But every generation, the 80 Ti cards just keep getting more expensive. I think we had the 780 Ti, I think it started at 700, then the 980 was 650, and then it jumped to like 800, and now this 2080 Ti is like $1,100-$1,200, not doing it. So that's kind of the stuff I'll be eyeing, and I also will be selling some of the used stuff that I have laying around that it's not really being used. So like the Frankenbox build, I've not used that hardly enough to justify its existence, unfortunately. I played probably one and a half games on all the way through on my TV, and it worked great, but I just couldn't do the same thing with the HDMI cable there. I also use it to record gameplay and, you know, just occasional stuff, but it's not powerful enough to do everything I want to do for that kind of application, and I just don't use the PC in that way all that much. So I'm gonna try to part it out, get me some cash in my pocket to put towards a new GPU and stuff. But most importantly, hopefully someone gets a little bit more use out of hardware that is just currently kind of sitting idle. So that said, let us begin step one of our journey. That is the SSD. I want to use this part first, and I want to get it all kind of situated before I even go changing any other hardware, because I want to validate that that part actually works. I'm a little iffy about switching around, you know, an SSD and a new chipset at the same time from the current. I'd kind of be more comfortable to validate that this current install works on base hardware, then upgrade. Generally, the switching to a higher level Intel platform, there's really no issues. Now, if you were to go Intel to AMD, there have been issues, and that's why I'm going to stick with the Intel chips for this upgrade. So plan is, go buy SSD, they're 500 gigs or 1 terabyte, depending on how they're priced. And basically we'll use a cloning utility, copy everything, including the Windows installation from this drive, put it on the SSD. Now, of course, if I'm over capacity, if I only get a 500 gig, I'm gonna have to uninstall some stuff and I'll be fine. Then I'll validate it for, you know, a week, make sure everything's good, benchmarks, stress tests, all that stuff. And then we can reformat the 1 terabyte hard drive afterward and kind of have it just be more Steam games and slower applications that I don't need to be blazing fast. And we'll finally have a modern speed SSD on a desktop. Everything else I had, like laptop had one, my other PC has one. I don't know why, it just took me this long to do. And then after that, we'll start looking into some more of the series hardware. And one last thing, because I have the attention span of a goldfish and totally forgot to mention any of this, the peripherals will be staying for the time being. I do plan on a mouse upgrade at some point. I really like my G700S, but there's the PowerPlay wireless charging stuff, which looks super sexy. Probably get into that. My Corsair K65 keyboard, have no intentions of ever upgrading this thing until like every key on it dies. It's fine. And the ultra-wide monitor, 1080p 75 hertz. It works pretty well for about everything I do, for shooters, that kind of stuff. I'll probably just end up playing with like downsampled resolution for competitive stuff, and then for the most part, the games I want to upgrade for are single-player, story-driven stuff that I'll be playing in 16:9 on my TV anyway. So until there's like 4K G-Sync, HDR, more buzzword monitor for under $1,000, I have no interest right now for replacing this. So this will look the same for the most part, and so will that. It's just what's in it. Hopefully I didn't rub my mic too much there, but yeah, there's that.
2 hours later.
So I'm back from the big box computer store. Got one of these. There it is on camera. Was initially thinking about getting a WD, but they only had it in the 250 gig size. And this SSD, I hope to resolve this is one of the issues I hope to get rid of. I put it to sleep mid-file transfer, and it just decided to not wake back up. Blank screen, said it was on, just not doing anything. So have to reset it, and it loses its mind here in the past, I don't know, since maybe the creators update or something like that on Windows 10. On boot up, it is just useless for the first 5 minutes. Nothing will load, you will crash the entire Windows shell, all because of this stupid antivirus software they've got running in the background that you will tell it not to scan on startup, scan at a certain time, and it does it anyway. Gotta love that control they give you. So I'm gonna open this up. I actually have one little bit of research I need to do though, and that is to find out, oh, see, here we go. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Now normally if I come home, I just boot up my computer by the time I'm, you know, logged in and getting stuff around the place, it's ready to go and I don't have to deal with it. It's SSD about done. So the thing I need to figure out, there you go. Well, of course their link can piss off right now, but this anti-malware service, all this is just eating it up, and I'm not using anything on Q right now, so we can get rid of that. So I'm gonna go back and I guess copy this shit back over. Hope it doesn't crash again. So what I have to find out right now is what the deal is with my motherboard, because a lot of these motherboards, you actually only have like 2 slots that are max speed, more or less, for the SATA connection. It's not like it's going to dramatically slow down anything, but I might have to put this in like the current hard drive spot and put the like shift everything down 1 basically if it's in. So yeah, so here you go. So I've got SATA 6 gig a second and 3 gig a second, and I don't think that's even going to matter for hard drives. So we'll use the 6 for the SSD and the Steam drive, and we'll make my 3 terabyte on the 3 gig, since that isn't quite as important. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So I got to see where everything's being hooked up, and then we'll figure out what to do with here. So the thing I need to figure out after that is this cloning software. And another lovely side effect of filming everything rears its ugly head. Now my already confined working space has been cut in half. How great. I fully expect this to be Dust City in here, so excuse the mess. I try to tackle the GPU and all the fans, that kind of stuff, but this backside here is probably going to be caked. Yeah, that's good stuff right there. Pretty good. Yes, that's kind of what happens when you have a 200mm fan. It's going to find every nook and cranny, and I've probably got some negative pressure going on. Yeah, that's pretty raunchy. We're going to take care of that shortly enough once we get some better equipment to handle the job. I'm not going to blow that out in here, and I don't want to use anything that could possibly cause electrostatic discharge. So I'm just not. Simple as that. So I have 2 options here. I kind of like where this hard drive cage is, because the airflow isn't restricted as much. And you can even see, yeah, so I would mount my SSD down there. What I got to figure out is where these SATA cables are going. If they're going into, they should be going to the 6 GB slots. So let me grab a flashlight tool here. Okay, interesting. So I actually did put the bottom drive on a 3G, so we've got a 6G spot open. The problem is getting it there with the graphics card there, so I'm probably going to have to take out my 980 Ti to even get to it. My other SATA cable shouldn't be problematic. It's flat there, but I think it'll be okay. We've got these straps. This will be a bitch to clean out when we do. I kind of hate to leave it in the shape it's in, but like I said, it doesn't do any good. I can't blow it out and, with all the components in there. So, oh well, it pains me, but it ain't hurting anything. It's not as bad in here. I want to attempt this without taking out the graphics card first. I can see the damn thing. It's just getting a right angle. It would help if my wrist strap was actually connected to the damn chassis of the PC. I'm not overly worried about it. I've got ground still plugged in with the power supply off. Actually, it should be off. It's not right now. Now it's off. But I'm sitting on carpet. I don't want to be working on carpet. Don't have much of a choice in the fucking matter, though. So here I am working on carpet. Yeah, this is going to get a wonderful deep cleaning when we change out everything else. I'll let this part out. That fan is fucking gnarly. Very nice. I don't even have pets, too. At least not one that stays with me all the time. That's just human dead skin cells and you know, carpet stuff. So that's disgusting. Oh God, all this shit that just came out. This is one of the features I love about this case, is the built-in cable management points. It's not as pretty as I could make it if I spent a lot of time on it, but this back panel is not clear, and I don't know who would want a clear back panel because you're never looking at it. At least I never would. So I don't really care. As long as it's all flush and sits in the case properly, good enough. Another thing I love about this Fantex case, absolutely epic packaging. You know, I expect this kind of shit out of a $200, $250 case, but this thing was like $100, maybe $110 when I bought it. It's $100 now. Great company. I don't know why Fantex doesn't get more coverage in a lot of review media. Okay, what should have taken 30 seconds was a 10-minute ordeal as usual, but we got it. Let's move all this stuff out of the way. Ride is on top. More to a sled. And yeah, alright. Right on top, black bottom, this one middle. Probably need to make sure it'll fit and I can cram this cable first. I can. Alright, be good. Right top. I should probably do this one first. Okay. Now, getting this little guy to fit should be a problem. It appears it's all in. No guarantees, but I think we got it. So, if that worked, we should now be seeing an extra storage device once we boot up. Alright, cool. So our BIOS is showing our new SSD, so we can restart that, and we'll start the cloning process. Except I'm still a bit over, by a bit I mean a lot, over on my hard drive space, so we're going to do something about that. I'm guessing I can find at least a couple more games to delete to get under the 500 gig range, and then we should be alright. It's going to be a lot of re-downloading stuff, but I would rather do it that way. I want to keep, I've not benchmarked every game yet, I want to keep the 3 for sure that I am. I'm going to try not to delete a lot of games that I've got mods on, like Skyrim. Everything else is pretty much fair game at this point. Oh, and here we go again with the slow-ass boot times. This will hopefully be coming to an end very soon. While we're waiting on Steam, The Witcher is showing up as very big. So I'm going to launch GOG and see how much it actually is with all the DLC and stuff. I've got a lot of mods, and I want to add even more for my next playthrough. Which will hopefully be 4K 60, and I don't want to screw with any of that because some of that is like direct drop into the directory, so if you re-download it, it's not going to be there, and I don't honestly remember a lot of what I did, so it's a lot. This Unreal Development Kit is probably way more than 4 gigs because this tends to, like, this rounds to whatever it rounds to, so it's not entirely accurate. I'm going to get rid of that, and hopefully that will be a bigger chunk than it says it is. Also going to fire up Epic Games. Hopefully I've only got Unreal Tournament 4. I might have even uninstalled Unreal Tournament because it's like garbage now. Which is unfortunate because they have all their development resources on Fortnite. Yay! Warframe, I'd hate to have to re-download, but we can do that. We can get rid of that. What are you doing, Steam? Jesus Christ! You know what, we're going to do it from here. I do not want to... Okay, it's still working on the other thing, I guess. I do not want to do Skyrim because of the mod thing. Oh, here we go. I don't have anything user created, so yeah, get rid of all of it. So according to our magic counter here, we're at just shy of 40 gigs on The Witcher 3. I seriously do not want to have to uninstall it. If I do, I would just move it to my D drive. That would get me up to 400 gigs free. I need like 500 on the dot because it's just gonna be so much. Yeah, I thought I uninstalled that. Come on, I guess this isn't gonna let me launch. No, I've not even got it fucking installed. I don't know what you're talking about. As you see, I'm not quite the Fortnite player. Yeah, so there's nothing more we can do there. It's unfortunate. That would put us up to 450. If we do all 4 of these, we'll get it. It's just a lot to reinstall, but it is what it is. So let's get rid of these 2 right now. The only reason I have Darksiders 2 still installed is I've not played the standalone DLC stuff, and I kind of wanted to run through it like the weeks preceding Darksiders 3 coming out. I almost said Dark Souls 3. It is out. So that should free up a little more. We're at 417, very cool. So yeah, I think I'm just going to run the Far Cry benchmark, and yeah, I think that's the smartest thing to do. Although, do I want to do it 4K? I think I want to do it on 4K, because that's kind of the whole point of this build, isn't it? Yeah, let's do it 4K. All right. Hey, look at the Psychopath 2006 YouTuber that's filming with an actual camera on the TV. The only reason I'm doing this, I wanted to show a 4K run, and not use screen capture, because that would, you know, destroy the results. I want to do this in real time, and because it's just easier. Here we go. Whoa, why are we locked on? Okay, I'm gonna say should be locked on 60. I know my color range is a little off of kilter because of that, and we definitely want to turn the resolution scale down. I realized I had that last time, so should be ready to go. If I get anywhere in the low to mid 30s average, I will be very impressed, because that's about what it seemed like I was getting when playing the few times I tried it. Yep, it's about right. I mean, it's doable, but I'll take 1440p 60 all day over it. But good lord, does the image look so crisp. Especially this was locked to 30. VSync, pretty good. At least it's going about the same curve as it did with the 2560 by 1080 test, which tells me that it's definitely not CPU bound on any of these. We only hit 26. Oh, there's a 28. That's sad. That's sad. Throw the computer in the garbage. It's trash. Can't even do the cinematic frame rate. Utter garbo. Should straighten back out here in a second. Nope, still got some AI going on. It's gonna. Pretty game. I mean, that's a little Ubisofty, this art style, but it's alright. Not bad. Like I said, we're right over the 30 FPS mark, so, you know, something that's just a little bit more powerful, and if we adjust the graphics quality to not be so stupidly high, because I got basically everything almost cranked, I think we can pull 4K 60 in this game with a few drops. Not that I particularly care, but you know, it's just another rite of passage. I believe there might even be dynamic resolution. There is. Very nice. Oh, good God. So apparently it scales up. How lovely. So if I set to like, yeah, so we could make this work. I think we could absolutely make this work. It might go down to like 1800p at some point, but ooh, so terrible. So that's not too bad. I'm going to input. I'll do a couple more runs, but here is my work in progress nerd ass spreadsheet. It's got specs of both the systems. The thing I'm really interested in is dollar per performance. So if I sell this stuff at what I hope to sell it, what I will pay for out of pocket versus what I will get out of it should be super interesting. So I already did some Unigen Valley runs this morning. So I've basically got every bench has like its own section for max FPS, min, score if that's applicable. I'm doing some stuff in some other programs in the games down here. I'll probably do min, max, and all that. So I'm going to copy this over. We're going to make this, and this is so overkill. Like the graphics or whatever I make out of it is going to be a lot less involved in what you're seeing, but should be way more comprehensive than anyone really needs. But this isn't terribly scientific either, because I'm just basically taking the best of 3 runs. This is a cool ass benchmark too. This is actually hidden in the game directories for Metro Last Light. This is Redux. I've got a 4K 2x SSAA, advanced physics enabled. This looks absolutely ridiculous. Of course, the frame rate is just terrible, unplayable. But this is a complete graphics bottleneck. Oh, jumped to 50 for a second. But I mean, this game originally released in 2013, and of course got re-released, but it looks absolutely stellar. The lighting is like, the models, everything, the textures may look a little plasticky by today's standards, but oh my god, this game is still gorgeous. The environments are just crazy. I can't wait for Exodus. But I think I'm going to turn down the SSAA or even off. It just doesn't need it, because I'm pretty sure SSAA is just like worse than MSAA. It just does everything on the edges and stuff, so it's pretty bad. That's much better. So this is actually, this would be playable. This looks smoother than Far Cry too. It's not nearly as jittery. Slow-mo, which helps, but still. I think Metro still uses some type of analytical anti-aliasing even when SSAA is turned off, so it's going to look better on the edges than a lot of games will. So far so good though. This makes me want to play this game again. I just replayed both of them not long ago, but shit, this is so good. This is a long ass benchmark. Friggin' almost 3 minutes. And it's going to run again. Alright, cool. I guess I'll let it finish. Might as well do its thing. I really like that you can just set automated 3 runs, not just have to redo it every time. So, cool. Guess I'll wait on it.